Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us today on this joyous occasion as we embark on a journey filled with happiness and sadness, a journey that will be filled with laughter and tears. Dearly beloved, we are gathered here to witness the separation of Dan Bublitz Jr.
Thank God, no one liked her anyway. Now can we go eat?
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome my good friend, Dan Bublitz Jr.
We're still doing good? Fantastic. Fantastic. We're going to get right into this. This first piece is called, It Was Supposed to Be a Love Story. It was supposed to be a love story. This isn't the way it was supposed to be. No, not at all. It was supposed to be you and I together always and forever. Two peas in a pod up against the world together, like two crime fighters back to back, ready to face all odds, fighting our way through life. It seems that we came to a fork in the road. I went left and you went right. There was light and then there was darkness. We lost sight of each other, our grip slipped, we let go, and now here we are with our backs turned away from each other, ready to duel like two gunfighters. Our guns are drawn, shots are fired, hearts are broken. Then the dust settles. We're both hurt, burnt, and exhausted from the long battle, the battle that could have been prevented, but we were both too stubborn to put up our white flags. All we needed to do was say 5 words. I say 2 and you say 3. I'm sorry. I forgive you. It was supposed to be a love story, but instead, it's just a Shakespearean tragedy. I wrote that piece right after we broke up. Relationships are hard. Breakups are even harder, especially this day and age with social media. Social media makes breakups really hard. It really does. I think on an average, a person goes to 3 or 4 major breakups in a lifetime, but please don't Google that because I didn't. That just seemed like a good number to use when I was writing this show. But you know, sometimes when you go through a breakup, you get so sad, you turn into just a big, sad, pathetic pile of crap that nobody wants to be around. You're so angry at the world. When you see a happy couple, you just want to punch them in the face. I've been there. I was super sad after this relationship ended. And I didn't realize how sad I truly was until a friend read one of my Facebook statuses out loud to my face and then laughed hysterically at me. The Facebook status simply read, "Anybody want to join me tonight at Olive Garden for dinner?" In my defense, I had a gift card for Olive Garden. But that's when I knew I was in bad shape. One good thing that came out of the breakup, though, is I started writing poetry again. However, my friends probably disagree with that. I think they think that was the worst thing that ever happened. Because that meant I was posting it on my social media, and then they had to read it and call me a sad sack of shit and try to and take away my man card. But before we get into the story that this show is about, I'm going to read you guys another story that I wrote that really captures the essence of how I felt after this breakup. This piece is called The Ultimate Sacrifice. She stood there with her back turned and didn't say one word. She was completely silent and her shoulder was cold. Tears poured from her eyes. I wanted to reach out to her, but I knew I couldn't. I had to walk away. I had to leave her for her own sake. If I stayed, it might have destroyed her. So I left and I walked until one day I found myself standing on an edge, and I closed my eyes, let go, and I just fell from that edge. I fell so far I landed in hell, and it hurt so bad when I hit the ground it broke my soul. At first, I couldn't move. I just laid there in pain. I was afraid. My hope was lost, and my body was weak. No matter how hard I tried, I just couldn't move. And then I thought about her, the woman that I once loved with all my heart. This woman meant the world to me. She was smart, beautiful, and kind. She didn't just complete me, but she complimented me. And as much as I love this woman, I had to leave her behind. It was for her own sake. I still had my own battles to fight. Now, years later, as I lay broken, alone, there's the thought of this woman would be my savior, and I knew it was time to return to her. Suddenly, I had hope and purpose again. My strength returned, and all my fears were gone. And with all my might, I rose to my feet to fight, and I wouldn't stop fighting until she was in my arms again. Nothing was going to stop me. I fought demon after demon after demon as I climbed out of hell. And when I rose from the flames, I was a new man. I did unspeakable things. My eyes saw things that couldn't be unseen. And for this woman, it was all worth it. I would do it 1,000 times over. I would sacrifice my life for this woman. That's when I realized what true love really was, because when I found her, she was in the arms of another man, a man that made her happy, and I knew if I truly loved her, it was time to let her go. It was time to make my ultimate sacrifice. Not all stories have a happy ending. Some stories just end. It was supposed to be a love story. I remember it like it was yesterday. This sounds cliche, but the first day that I ever saw this woman, I used to own a comic book store here in Watertown, South Dakota. In this building, actually, so the story comes full circle tonight. Thank you. I remember when she walked through the door, I was standing behind the counter talking shop with my business partner, and she was the most beautiful woman I had ever seen. She had long, dark, jet black hair, golden brown skin. She was wearing a long blue summer dress with a dark black t-shirt. And there was kids playing games in the comic book store, and when she walked through the door, everybody turned like she was royalty. In fact, when she walked through the door, I think some of those high schoolers went through puberty at that exact moment. And when I saw her, I said to my business partner, I said, "Steve, I think I'm in love." "But Dan, you're married." "I can read the menu, I just can't order." And it's true. I was married at the time, and I would never do anything. I would never be unfaithful to anybody I called a partner. So there was nothing nothing was going to happen. I just did what I needed to do, which was my job, and asked her how I could help her, and then helped her find what she needed. And then that was that. I often find myself in relationships that I shouldn't be. I feel like sometimes I'm toxic. This next piece is called Caution. Caution, stand back, don't come too close. I'm a monster on a path of self-destruction. I should be locked in a cage and forgotten. If you fall in love with me, I will only break your heart. If I hold you, I'll only destroy you. My hands are cursed, covered in a poisonous plague, striking with a venomous bite, spreading pain and suffering. Everything they touch turns to nothing, an empty shell of darkness, shriveled in the shadows of sadness. Now we're going to fast forward 6 years. My comic book store was closed, and I was going through my first divorce. And that's when I realized that marriage probably wasn't going to work for me, because my ex-wife was really annoying. Like, she would do really annoying things, like talk to me. That wasn't the annoying part. The annoying part was she expected me to listen. It is impossible to listen to a woman while you're playing Xbox. That achievement cannot be unlocked. Now, over that 6 years, me and what I would later find, she was my drunk food master because she was Asian and Irish. She and I did become friends, but not like close. We had a lot of mutual friends, so we saw each other a lot. And then I was going through a divorce, and she was going through a divorce, so it was easy for us to get together. We had something that we shared, so it was easy to kind of rely on each other. And I will confess, I did ask her out one time, and she did not. She said no, which was probably smart. Well, we kept hanging out over and over and more, and I would go over to her house late hours in the night because she had a kid and she couldn't go out much. And we would do things like one of her favorite things to do was introduce me to shows that she liked. For instance, she got me to watch the whole series of Friends from beginning to end. That should have been the red flag. That should have definitely been the red flag. But we hung out more and more. We even became friends with benefits far before we started dating. This is what I realized, though. I realized that I did not know what dating really was about. At my age, I don't know what dating is. Like, I tried signing up for Tinder, and it just said no. It just swiped left on me. I'm going to be honest. I've tried online dating. Not a fan of online dating. I'll tell you why. They ask a lot of questions. There's a lot of reasons to lie. Like, you want to be honest, but you also want to be impressive. Like, I filled out a profile. When I got done with the physical description, I looked like Channing Tatum. Pretty soon I'd be talking about how I like long walks on the beach. You take one look at me and you can clearly tell I don't like walking fucking anywhere. Except maybe to a good buffet. And I guarantee you I'm just going to waddle fast. Unless it's a good buffet, I might truffle shuffle my way up there. Depends on how good it is. What I'm saying is some people, when they want to have a good time, they'll go clubbing. I go buffeting. And filling out the online profiles, it's like filling out a job resume. They want to know wage history, work history, where you see yourself in 5 years. They expect you to have goals. That's bullshit. I actually went on a date one time from a dating site, and I actually felt like I was on a job interview for a job I was clearly not qualified for. That's right, because that woman was doing interviews for a new husband, and I was like, I've had that job once, wasn't good, got fired. Should have read my resume. We could have skipped this interview. And I have to admit, I'm an awkward person. Like, I know what I'm dealing with when it comes to dating. Like, I have skinny legs and skinny arms and a body of a squash. I basically look like a squash with sticks sticking out of it, which makes dating difficult. Like, I once saw a pretty girl, and I tried to get her phone number. She told me I had no game. So I pulled her stool out from under and screamed Jenga. I tried hitting on a woman one time when I was on stage, actually two ladies. I saw two pretty ladies in the audience, and I thought, well, I'll try to hit on these ladies from here because I'm the big cool comic on stage. And I looked at them and I said, hey, ladies, you look very dapper tonight. Called two ladies dapper. If you're not familiar with that word, it is an old-timey word to describe a man as handsome. I called two women handsome in the most old-timey way possible. At that point, I should have just been like, hello, my lady, hello, my darling, and just scooted my way off stage. Because they were definitely not going to give me their numbers or go home with me after that. I did get hit on by a guy one time, so I guess that's cool. Thanks. Got options. It's good to have options when things don't work out. According to that guy, I am what is called a cute little bear. That's what he kept calling me. He kept saying, you a cute little bear, you cute little bear. I want to take you home, cute little bear. Not gonna lie, every time he called me a cute little bear, I felt really weird and I felt really awkward about it. Because every time he said, you a cute little bear, I also felt really, really pretty. Needed that confidence boost. After that first marriage broke up, I'd been married for 12 years, and I was at a point in my life where I'd felt like I had wasted 12 years of my life. I realize now that I didn't, that person I was married to was very important to me and helped influence who I am today. But like I said, at the time, it felt like a waste. And it was time to do things that I wanted to do in life. I didn't want to be a person that looked back on life and thought, what if? And that's when I decided to pursue stand-up comedy. So yeah, at 32 years old, I told my dad I was quitting life and going to be a stand-up comic. And that's what I did. I decided that I was going to pursue stand-up comedy. And I'd signed up for an open mic in Sioux Falls, South Dakota, but they only did it monthly. And I'd signed up in June to do their September open mic. So I had 2 or 3 months to get ready. I wanted to be rehearsed and ready to go. And that was one of the things I loved about this woman that I was currently pursuing, because she loved comedy and she would help me rehearse. I would write, and then I would go over and perform in front of her, and she would give me notes and suggestions. Like, I remember the first joke that I ever wrote was, I've always wanted to know what it's like to be tall. So I've devised 2 plans. Number 1, I'm just going to start hanging out with a midget. And if I can't find a midget to hang out with, I'm just going to move to Japan. The only thing Asian about me is in my pants. Terrible joke. Yes, I know. It's okay. It was the first joke I wrote. If she would have gave me good suggestions, she should have suggested that I never tell that joke. But she didn't. But that was another reason we started hanging out more, because we had that in common. Because even she started dabbling in comedy, and then we actually came up with the show that we used to do at Dempsey's here in town called Comedy at the Pub. So we were working together. And we were hanging out all the time, and then we started dating. She moved in with me, and things were going great. This next piece is called What is Love? Love is that nauseous feeling that makes you sick, but somehow still has the comfort of a mother's hug. It's a warm embrace on a cold night, a cool kiss on a warm day. It's a soft, gentle touch that makes your whole body tremble and your breath lost. It's having someone to keep your feet warm at night. It's holding hands and dancing in the rain all day, not caring what other people say. It's knowing when you're wrong and knowing when to compromise when you're right. Love is knowing everyone is human and everyone makes mistakes. It's having the ability to forgive and be forgiven. When you finally let go and fall back, love will catch you. It will rescue you from the darkest places and bring you to the light. Because love is strong and it conquers all. Love is sacrificing everything for someone else without ever looking back, because love only moves forward. It has no regrets. It's a laugh, a giggle, a simple look that says everything is okay. It's having the strength to say goodbye even though you're breaking down inside. It'll make you happy, sad, mad, glad. It'll make you smile, frown, laugh, and cry. Love will cause tears, hurt, and pain, but love always heals. Love will never go away, no matter how hard you try to push it away. Because love never lets go. Love always has open ears and a warm embrace to make everything okay. Love is a bond. It's the strongest bond of all. Love is a friendship. Now we're dating, we're living together, things are going great. As I mentioned earlier, she had a child, so now I am a father figure for a 9-year-old little girl. I don't know if that was a good idea. I'm going to tell you why. Because one time, I adopted a kitten, and this kitten was the devil. That's right. And like the devil, she convinced the world that she didn't exist, because everybody that saw this kitten thought she was the most adorable kitten in the world. She wasn't adorable. She was vicious, and she was mean. All she would do is bite and scratch my arms. It was so bad. My arms were so bad, it looked like I was a bad drug user. And not like I did a lot of drugs, but like I tried it once and was bad at it. Like, how do drugs work? I don't get it. So I had to figure out what I was going to do with this kitten, because I couldn't keep it, or my arms would have never healed. And you don't want to give up on a foster child or an adopted child. You don't want to take it back to the orphanage, because it makes you look like a quitter, you know? So I thought, maybe I should throw it into traffic. Don't worry, I didn't. Instead, I gave it to somebody I didn't like. But now here I am. I'm going to be a father figure. And I wanted to do good at, because you're going to be a step-parent. That's not good. Like, step-parents don't get a fair shake. They really don't. You end up paying for somebody else's deposit. You're doing the time for somebody else's crime. And you have to work that much harder, because you're not the real parent. They can always, when you try to scold them or something, well, you're not my dad. Got a point. I can't argue with that. That's true. I'm not. Can't argue with that. So you got to try harder. And I wanted to be a good parent. I mean, I think everybody that has kids wants to be a good parent. You want to give your kids more than you had and give them a better life, you know. But I feel like as a society, collectively, we're not doing a very good job with children, the lessons we teach them, because we give them a good lesson, contradict it with something. For instance, we teach children not to take candy from strangers. That is a fantastic lesson. Then one day a year, we dress them in disguises, send them out in hordes to take candy from strangers. Then, when they're in trouble with a stranger, we teach them, danger, stranger, stranger, danger, go to the police. Police are just strangers with guns. And like I said, you, as a parent, you want to try to give your kids more than you had. Like, when I was growing up, I didn't have a lot. I came from a poor family. I really did. My dad was trying to raise 2 boys on his own. So when holidays and birthdays would come around, I wouldn't get anything cool. All my friends were getting the latest and greatest toys, G.I. Joes, Transformers. I was getting whitey-tighties, holiday-themed sweaters. One year for my birthday, my dad bought me he gave me a box of rocks. I was like, Dad, what am I supposed to do with a box of rocks? He said, son, use your imagination. So I imagined I was a superhero, and I used the rocks to rescue the toys from the toy store. Then when I got home with all the toys, my dad asked, he said, son, where did you get all the toys? I said, Dad, use your imagination. I'm not telling. That's my secret. And that's something as a parent I kind of learned is that punishment is a thing that has changed that I can't quite comprehend. For instance, time out is a punishment, which I don't understand. Life needs more time out. Like when we're at work, wouldn't it be great when we got in trouble if our boss was like, go sit in the corner for 15 minutes and think about what you did? People would enjoy their jobs more. Productivity would probably drop. Job morale would boost. And kids get sent to their rooms. That's another thing. But kids nowadays have every gizmo and gadget there is in their room. So going to the room is like a vacation. When I was a kid, if I got sent to my room, it was like solitary confinement. That's right. There was a bucket in the corner and a mat on the floor. And if I got sent to my room, I was actually getting off easy. Because my dad was one of those guys that believed in hard labor. So if I got in trouble, I was out in the yard picking weeds and picking rocks. And my friends were there. They were just guilty too. And that was the sound of the neighborhood kids working on the chain. Ha! And we live in an age where spanking is not allowed, but when I was growing up, it was everyday life, at least for me. But my dad was lazy about punishment. That was probably the most annoying thing about my dad. When he'd get really angry at me, it would be, Daniel, come over here so I can pop you in the head. And because I was a dumb kid, I would just da-da-da, and get popped in the head. Pop me once, Dad, shame on you. Pop me twice, shame on me. Pop me 3 times, it's because I'm super, super, super slow, because you've already popped me twice. We decided our daughter wanted to get a dog, so we decided we would get her this dog under the condition she would take care of said dog. But, of course, she never did, because she was always busy with those gizmos and gadgets. Too busy for this. One day I saw the saddest thing. She was outside playing her Nintendo DS in front of her dog. So sad. She was just playing away. The dog was looking up at her with her sad puppy eyes, and she was just playing away. And I was curious what she was playing, so I wanted to find out. And she was playing Nintendogs. If you don't know what that is, it's a video game where you feed and water and play with a fucking dog. Yeah. It's like if you'd go play with your dog in real life, that'd be Nintendogs in 3D. I just wish when she finally did play with her dog, he could take her DS and play The Sims in front of her. And if you don't know what that video game is, that's a video game where you feed and water and play with people. It is poetic justice, is what that is. The sad thing, though, when you're in a relationship with somebody that has kids tend to be, when relationships end, they tend to be the casualties. And that's kind of a sad thing that happens in these situations. And that same thing happened. She became kind of a casualty because when we broke up, I stopped all communication with all her family, including her daughter. Not because I wanted to, but because I knew that her mom watched what she did on Facebook, and I didn't want her to be spying on me and all that stupid drama. And I often think about her. I hope she's doing well. And I think about her a lot, and I have a lot of regrets, and I can never give her the apology that she's owed or an explanation for the thing that happened. All I can really say and feel about it is I hope that she got something from our time together, because it basically went for 5 years I was like her father, and then I just ceased to exist. And I like to think that maybe she got some of her sense of humor and her cleverness from me, because she was a very, very smart girl. And I'm going to give you guys a scenario. One day, I was getting ready for work, and she was getting ready for school. And I saw her trying to smuggle a bag of cookies out of the house. Now, the new parent in me wants to let her take the cookies to school, to let her show that I'm a nice guy. The parent in me that's in a relationship with her mother knows I can't let her take the cookies to school. The fat guy in me just wants to eat the cookies. So, I did what every good person should do in this situation. When I told her she couldn't take the cookies to school, I said, it's because your mom said no. That's right, blame the mom. But then she looked me dead in the eye, because she was my height. And she said, I'm not going to take these cookies to school. I'm taking them to the bus stop. I'm going to give them to all my friends. They're going to take them to school. Fair enough. Take the cookies. Can't argue with that logic. This next piece is it's about apologies. Like I said, I can never give her an explanation or apology she's owed. And I feel like in life, doing what I do, I hurt people because I'm always gone. I miss a lot of family functions and things like that. This next piece is called Sorry 1,000 Times. I could say I'm sorry 1,000 times over again, and it would never be enough. I am who I am. I think hard, love strong, and feel deeply. I long to be unchained and free to roam, but the burdens I carry will consume my soul. And the pain I feel for the pain I've caused overwhelms me with guilt that's slowly killing me. My soul is tortured, my mind is tormented, and my body is broken. I want to run, I want to hide, but I know I can't escape my final demise. I'll push forward, I'll carry on. And fueled with everything I've sacrificed, I'll reach the top. I'll have my success. And when I'm standing there on the mountaintop looking down, basking in my glory, I'll be rewarded with everything that I deserve. Loneliness and a broken heart. Now I'm in this great relationship. I'm a father figure. Things are going good. I just finished filing bankruptcy, which that's a treat, filing bankruptcy, because it's not just something you can go do. In fact, in order to file bankruptcy, you have to go hire an attorney. That attorney then makes you fill out paperwork to see if you qualify. You shouldn't have to file paperwork to qualify to be broke. The red in my checking account should have been a good signifier that I was broke. But then, if you qualify for bankruptcy, then they charge you $1,600. Right? Yeah, they said I qualified for bankruptcy, but it was going to cost $1,600 to file. If I had $1,600 in the bank, I'd probably just pay my bills. Wouldn't be in this situation, that's for sure. So I had to figure out where I was going to get the money for the bankruptcy, so I went to the bank. I applied for a loan. I qualified for the loan. Then they asked what it was for. I said bankruptcy. They said no. Probably a wise decision. But like I said, everything's going great. There was only one thing that needed to change: location. It was time to relocate. Now, I've been doing comedy for a few months, and I wanted to move to California because even at a few months in, I thought I was the greatest comic. And now, 8 years later, I realize I wasn't. But I wanted to move to California. And she had family in California. She decided that she wanted to be closer to her family. Before we started dating, we had this plan where we were going to share a U-Haul. She was going to go to San Diego. I was going to go to Los Angeles and pursue comedy. Then we started dating. So now, I'm not going to Los Angeles. I'm going to follow the girl because I love the girl. So we moved to San Diego, which was great. California was great. It's a beautiful place. San Diego is a beautiful place. It's super expensive, though. Yeah, super expensive. And the job market, not so good. A lot of the jobs out there don't pay as well as I thought they would have. So that was a little bit of a culture shock for me. So when I got out there, it was a good thing because basically I sold everything I owned. I took all my life savings, which wasn't much. It was the equivalent to U-Haul gas and food to get to California, if you guys want to do math. When I got to California, I had $100 in my pocket. So it was a good thing that we were going to be staying with her family while we were in California because we couldn't afford our own place. They were going to help us out. Now, I think that the whole time we were together, we ended up living with her family because of the job market. My job didn't pay very well. When she finally found a job, it didn't pay very well. So the whole time we were together, we lived with them, and I feel like that didn't help the situation or help our relationship because her family, even though they were very nice and polite to me, I don't think they liked me. I think they felt like I was just a bum. And I feel like a lot of people probably think that about me sometimes. But we're in California. We've been dating for a while. Things are going good. We're in love. Everything is great. So now I start thinking maybe we should get engaged. Take that next step, right? It's the next step. And we'd had conversations in the past about getting married, that went a lot like me asking her, do you want to get married? No. Probably should have saw that as an indicator that she didn't want to get married. But then I gave it some thought. Like, I wanted to do something really, really romantic if I proposed. Like, I went back and forth about, proposing. I even went to a friend. I went to a friend to seek advice. I said, buddy, I'm thinking about proposing to my lady. Weren't you married once before? Well, yeah. How'd that work for you? But I wanted to do something very romantic because I try to be a romantic person. So I thought about this elaborate plan. Her ex had asked for a divorce on her birthday. So I decided that I was going to propose on her birthday to cancel out the bad. I was going to cancel out the bad. That's right. So I decided that I should... that I was gonna propose because life is about taking chances and taking risks, and it was time for me to take this risk despite all these conversations that I had with people. This next piece is called What is Life? What is life? We're born, we live, and we die. Life is life really that simple? No, it can't be. It's a complex but precise mathematical equation made up of actions and reactions, causes and effects, and variables that we can't even begin to explain or comprehend. Life is complicated. Life is a walk on the beach. It's the sun shining bright, the beauty of the moon at night, and the twinkle of the stars that shine in the sky. It's a glorious roar of an ocean and the whistle and the wind in the forest. It's magic of a sunrise and the beauty of a sunset. Life is magical. It's the innocence of a child's laughter, the shine of a beautiful woman's smile, the calluses of a working man's hands, and the wisdom of an old man's grumble. Life is losing your breath after your first kiss. It's the butterflies you get when you see your soulmate for the very first time. Life is holding your firstborn child and realizing that you can help create life. Life is creation. Life is a series of chapters. It's all the thoughts, feelings, and moments that will transform into memories. It's pictures locked away in our minds, always kept with us. With each breath, life is running out, tick-tock, like hands on the time of the clock. Life is short, life is precious. And when death comes to reap life's soul, life will be celebrated. It will bask in its own glory, immortalized by the stories never forgotten. Life is a celebration. What is life? It's not just being human, living, or dying. Life is everything. So I planned the proposal, and I went and bought a ring. Now, I didn't get a traditional diamond ring. I got her a ring full of colorful gems because it reminded me of her colorful personality. And also, I couldn't afford a diamond because I was poor. Got the ring, planned the birthday party, and at midnight, when it was going to be her birthday, with the DJ We worked together so I could make my proposal, and at midnight I got on my knee, and I drunkenly stumbled through my proposal. And then she, to my surprise, said yes. Yes, after many, many, many other words. She did say yes. So the risk paid off. So now we're engaged. Things are great. We're happy. We're going to get married. We picked our wedding date, October 16th, 2014, because that was the day 4 years prior that we started dating. So the date had significance. So now it was time to start planning this wedding. And that's when things got rocky. That's right, because planning a wedding is a very big task. I did it once before, and I didn't really care about doing it again. Not because I didn't want to get married or be with this woman, but because I wanted her to have what she wanted, and I just wanted to marry my best friend. That's how I felt about it. I was marrying my best friend. That's all that mattered. All the rest of it were just details. But she wanted a very extravagant wedding. Unfortunately, we were poor, so we had to make compromises for this wedding. And so as the wedding got closer and we were planning, we started fighting more. We started fighting more because like I said, I wasn't really into doing this wedding. And maybe that should have been a sign that I shouldn't have did this wedding. But I suggested, because she started getting really bad anxiety as we got closer to the wedding that started causing panic attacks, I suggested that we call off the wedding. Big mistake. Because in my perspective, I'm trying to look out for somebody that's under a lot of stress and try to take that stress away. In her perspective, I didn't love her and I didn't want to marry her. So it was kind of a big deal. And I realize now, as I think back on it, I quit a lot of things, like for instance, when I was in 4th grade, I joined orchestra. They assigned me the cello. The cello is still taller than I am now. After 2 weeks of carrying that instrument, I quit orchestra. You can't tell by looking at my stature, but when I was a kid, I really liked sports, and I was very athletic. Till I got to high school, then I thought I was too cool for sports, so then I quit. I was even in Boy Scouts. That was the thing. I was in Boy Scouts. And right before I got to the highest rank, I quit. Because like I said, I'm kind of a quitter when it comes to things. But in my mind, I was trying to help her get through this stress. Now, unfortunately, because of this, I kind of pushed her away. My neglect pushed her away. She started hanging out with a mutual friend. Her attitude towards me changed. It got more kind of toxic. She started drinking a little more, and things just weren't going as well as they were before. And we got to, it was 3 days before our wedding. 3 days before our wedding, and we got in an argument, pretty big argument. I don't even remember what the argument was for, honestly now. But we got in this argument, and I once again suggested that maybe we should call off the wedding. Nope, that was a bad idea, again, because now she's even more stressed because she thinks that this guy that she's with keeps telling her that we should call off this wedding, doesn't want to marry her, but that wasn't the case. But it's hard to explain that in that situation. We talked through our problems. She made it very clear that I had a lot of issues that I needed to work on, and I agreed that you're right. I do need to work on a lot of things. This is when I realized it was time to grow up. I was terrible at time management. I was always gone doing shows, always gone doing open mics, and when I was home, I wasn't there, so it was time to change. So we were going to do this wedding. Now, despite all the setbacks that we had from being poor, we had a very, very beautiful wedding ceremony. It was gorgeous.
We had it on Coronado Island, San Diego, overlooking the San Diego harbor, outside in a park. Beautiful. All our friends from across the country were there. Friends, family. It was great. Afterwards, we had a great reception on the island, a dance. Things were going good. It was just a beautiful day. But I do remember one time during the day, I looked over at my new bride, and I realized that I could tell that something was eating away at her. Like she just didn't seem happy.
But I just kind of disregarded it. So the day went on. After our wedding dance, we went to the bar where I proposed, and that's where we closed out the night, and it was fantastic. Then we went home, and she was super drunk, and she decided that because it was her wifely duty that we needed to I can't even say it. We needed to have sex. Now, I was super tired and I didn't want to because she was super drunk. But like I said, she would get very toxic when she would drink. Like, she was the kind of person that when we would get in fights, she was very immature about it. So finally, I just gave in and we had sex. I am a guy after all. Then, we had originally planned that our honeymoon, we were going to go to Universal Studios. And that's another thing that I realized I'm not good at staying to a plan, because I suggested we had all these friends and family from all over the country. We should go hang out with them. She agreed. Granted, she was very upset about it, but she didn't let on to it right away. So we went out and we had a great day with our friends and family. We took them all over to the sites all over San Diego. We went and had fun on Coronado Island. I remember we went to this great ice cream shop in Coronado Island. And I had gotten my ice cream cone. I was standing there waiting for all my friends while they were getting their stuff. And I dropped my cone. It was pretty sad. And it did like 3 flips, and I just caught it midair. That's an actual real... When it comes to food, guys, I do not mess around. I'm quick. Lightning quick. So we had a great day. It was great. Our new marriage was going to go fantastic, so it seemed. Then, the second day after we got married, we were supposed to go hang out with our friends again. Then she decided that she did not want to hang out with me and our friends, and instead went and hung out with her mutual friend that she started hanging out with prior to our wedding. All right, that's fine. I'll go hang out with our friends. So I did. Then that day, when we both got home, because I'm a guy, I'm also dumb, I said something very snarky about her ditching us. And then that's when all hell broke loose. And we got in the biggest argument that we had ever been in. I mean, it was bad. It was really bad. And that's when she finally let on that she did not want to stay married. So we just had a faux wedding. 3 days into our wedding, and our marriage was over. We were giving Britney Spears a run for her money. Now, she came up with this plan, though, that she wanted to pretend to be married for a while and not turn in the wedding license. Now, that's the best part about this, is we didn't have to get divorced because our marriage ended so fast, we just didn't turn in the wedding license. That's a trick for anybody out here. FYI. But we didn't turn it in, but she wanted to pretend like we were married, because when we were getting ready to, as the wedding was getting closer, we started waiting to pay for things for our bills so we could pay for things for the wedding. And then when we opened the presents and the gifts and things, we used some of the money to pay the bills that we were holding off on. So now she had all this anxiety about paying people back for these gifts for this fake wedding that we just had. And so I was like, well, I'll go along with this. I'll pretend to be married until we figure out how we're going to get ourselves out of this situation. But then, because I go out a lot, everywhere I went, all my friends, they were constantly congratulating me. It's like, Dan, congratulations on your new life. I'm so happy for you. You married your best friend. Things are great. And after about a week of living that lie, I was like, nope, I can't do this anymore. So I decided to move out. I honestly thought we had everything worked out and that our marriage was going to work and things were going to be great, but unfortunately they weren't, and I was lost. This next piece is called Lost. I feel so deep, yet somehow I'm so shallow. I'm overwhelmed by loneliness, yet smothered by togetherness. I long for companionship, but push everyone away. I'm an idea that hasn't been thought, a child yet to be born, a puzzle that hasn't been put together. I'm a poem that hasn't been written, chaos looking for peace. I'm a storm looking for the calm before. I'm toxic yet intoxicating. I'm a poison waiting for the antidote. I'm an illness waiting to be cured. I'm a curse waiting to be broken, darkness waiting for light. I want to say so much and nothing at all. I'm a song waiting to be sung, a soul in need of searching. I'm a broken heart waiting to be mended. Mostly, I'm just lost, waiting to be found. Now, after we broke up, I started writing a lot of poetry, a lot of sad poetry, as you can tell. And one of the things that I wanted to do for our wedding gift, like I said, I quit a lot of things. I never follow through on things. That was something that I learned at that time. And as a romantic gesture, I was going to write her a song about something that was an inside joke for our wedding, and I was going to give it to her and try to perform it, even though I am not a singer. I was going to try to perform it. And so I did that. Did not win her back. About a week after I had moved out, though, I went over to her house to pick up some of my things. And I went over unannounced and pretty early in the morning, and the mutual friend was there. And you could tell that he had spent the night. Now, she said she didn't have an affair, and all I can do is take it at her word. I don't know that she did. That's only she knows, and only God will ever know that. But of course, that led to a lot of fighting. We started fighting a lot more, and then finally, after about a month after the wedding, we tried to be civil to each other a little bit. And then she asked me to come over to her house because she wanted me to pick up some of my things. And at this time, I didn't care about material items. I didn't care. But I could tell something was eating at her. She needed to talk to me about something. So I went over there to see what she wanted to talk about. We were standing outside her house, out on their patio. And she looked at me and she said, "Daniel, I need to tell you something. And I wanted to tell you in person because I didn't want you to hear it from anybody else. I wanted you to hear it from me. I'm pregnant." And then she took a breath, paused. And in that pause, so many thoughts and feelings raced through me. I was happy, I was sad, I was mad. I started thinking about, how could this be? How could you be pregnant now? We just broke up. Is this going to save our relationship? Does this mean we'll get back together? Is this some sick joke by the universe? And then the breath ended and she continued with, "I'm 100% sure it's not yours." And then I had to remind her how sex worked. Because on our wedding night, she got super drunk and she did not remember having sex on our wedding night. And then, of course, when she told me this, I told her I definitely wanted a paternity test because I wanted to make sure that it was not mine. Because if it was, I was going to be there for the child. I didn't want a surprise 18 years down the road. I wanted to know then. And then she got very, very nasty with me. And that's when the switch flipped. And I realized I could not be in this relationship. She was very poisonous and toxic to me. I just felt like Neo in the Matrix because I just dodged a bunch of bullets. This next piece is about hearts. In that situation, did she break my heart? Yes. Did I break her heart? Yes. And this is something I've learned about hearts. There are moments in life when hearts get broken. Sometimes it's our own heart that breaks, and sometimes it's another. The sound of a heart breaking is the hardest sound to hear. It sounds like death shrieking through the night. It's so painfully sad, and it stabs your ears until your eyes bleed and your knees are weak and your body trembles. It makes you so sick to the stomach that you stop breathing, gasping for air until you fall to the ground lifeless with no hope. Sometimes it lasts a long time, and sometimes it's just a moment, but it's equally painful. It happens so fast, like shattering glass. Instant shards of heart lay everywhere, waiting for someone else to come along and pick them up and put them back together. Hearts break, hearts heal, and hearts move on. It was supposed to be a love story. And it was. It just wasn't ours together. Sometimes two people just don't work out together, and that's okay. That's life. Yeah. And, a lot of people now ask me, when I tell this story, they ask if it really happened, because it's pretty crazy story. And they'll ask me how I feel about her and if I hate her. And the truth is, I don't hate her. And I've learned through life, every day when I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror, I don't tell myself everything's going to be okay. I try to be as real as I can. I look in the mirror and I tell myself, Dan, you're a fucking idiot. You made a lot of mistakes, poor decisions, but that's okay because you're human, and humans make mistakes. So forgive yourself and learn from your mistakes and try to be a better human tomorrow than you were today. So the greatest lesson that I took from this is that in life, we need to love more and hate less. And this the final poem that I'm going to read is called Love More, Hate Less. Love and hate are just 2 four-letter words, but love makes you happy and glad, but hate makes you mad and sad. Love will wipe away the tears from your eyes, but hate just makes you want to cry. Love will give you the strength that you seek, but hate will make your foundation weak. Love will set your soul free, but hate will make your soul flee. Love will give you the warm embrace of a hug, but hate will be like an addiction to a bad drug. Love will fill your heart with kindness with no gauge, and hate will fill your heart with anger that'll turn to rage. Love makes you feel intelligently undisputed, but hate makes you look indisputably ignorant and stupid. Love conquers all, but hate fights until we fall. Love will make you compassionate, and hate will make you inadequate. Did I love her? Absolutely. And this is how I know I loved her. Because she convinced me to spend $3,000. $3,000. And just so everybody is clear on this, $3,000 on a set of pots and pans. That's an appropriate reaction. Yes, I didn't even know you could spend $3,000 on a set of pots and pans. That is ridiculous. They're not even magical. You know what happens when you put food in these pans? Cooks it like normal fucking pans. These pans are so expensive, you have to finance them. My friends had car payments, mortgage payments. I had goddamn pan payments. You have no idea how stressful that is for a fat guy to think if he misses a pan payment, his pans could be repossessed. That is a stress I don't need. You know what I need with my $3,000 pots and pans? Bacon and eggs. And you can't get these at a department store. No, you can't. You have to join a cult where you're invited by an idiot. Because only idiots will go, only idiots will buy these pans. Yes, I'm an idiot. I went and I bought the pans. Because they get you. This is how they get you. They tell you that they'll do a demonstration for you, they'll cook you a meal, and then even if you don't buy the pans, they give you a free gift, which is a hotel stay. It's a 2-night hotel stay at a hotel of your choice among their choices. There's always a catch. Now, I'm a guy. I automatically think if I'm going to get a 2-night hotel stay away with my lady, there's a good chance that I'm going to get laid. It's not a guarantee, but there's a good chance. And guys have did a lot worse things for a chance to get laid. I can easily sit for 45 minutes, enjoy a nice meal, and then say no. I got this. Now, her idiot friend convinced her that these pans were the greatest thing that God ever... They were literally God's gift to women. And she had decided going into this that she was already going to buy them. So when we got to the end of the demonstration, the nice lady said that dreadful question, "So, would you like to buy the pans?" I immediately said no. She immediately said yes. And this is when I decided it was time to man up. That's right. Let the balls drop. So I beat my chest, stomped my feet, and threw a mantrum like a real adult. Then I looked at her again, and she gave me this look, and it was a look of anger and rage, and I had seen this look before. I'd seen it one time when we were at a zoo. That's right, this guy said something so stupid to her, she got so pissed, she punched him in the face, knocked him out, put him in a hospital. So when I got out of the hospital, I bought those pots and pans. Ladies and gentlemen, you are fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you again so much for coming out and supporting live entertainment in Watertown at the Goss Opera House. Drive safe and have a great night.